Welcome to Truck Company Operations IST for March 2022. Vent, Enter, Isolate, Search. Search and Rescue Overview. When crews are assigned search at a structure fire, often firefighters use the conventional primary and secondary search method. What's a primary search? Well, this involves a crew who performs a rapid down and dirty search while hazardous conditions are still present. For this type of search, we would start looking for victims in rooms closest to the fire and then progressively work away from the fire. A secondary search is more methodical and thorough. This search is performed after the fire has been deemed under control. Most of the time, firefighters enter through the same entry point as the fire attack crews. This method proves to be effective in many circumstances, but it may not be the best decision for victim rescue. Why VEIS? There are instances when search and rescue needs to be more targeted. In some situations, search crews cannot gain access to the victims through the primary entrance or conventional means, and can be more effectively conducted from a different point of entry. In this case, the search and rescue tactic VEIS is a good choice. VEIS, according to USFA's topical report, Civilian Fire Fatalities in Residential Buildings from 2017 to 2019. This concluded that 50% of fatalities occurred in bedrooms. 31% of those victims were asleep as the main leading factor for their fatalities. The largest number of fatalities occurred between 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. This report also concluded that 45% of the time that a bedroom was within 6 feet of an exterior door, there was nearly a 60% survivability rate. If victims were in a bedroom with a closed bedroom door isolating them from the fire, there was an 82% survival rate. Locating and removing a victim within 8 minutes of arrival gives them at least a 66% chance of survival. What is VEIS? VEIS stands for Vent, Enter, Isolate, and Search. In its simplest form, VEIS consists of two firefighters who ventilate a window, enter a room, isolate the flow path, and perform a rapid search of the room. This concept was first developed by FDNY out of a need. They frequently had trapped victims at apartment fires whose egress was cut off. Firefighters had difficulty accessing the victims because fire conditions blocked traditional entry points. They adopted this tactic to allow search and rescue efforts to be conducted while fire attack teams were extinguishing the fire. Traditionally, VEIS was only VES. Recently, the I has been added for isolate to control the flow path within the structure. Modern science experiments conducted by NIST or NIST and UL have confirmed the importance of door control and managing flow paths within a structure fire. If the following circumstances apply, VEIS may be the best choice for victim rescue. Imminent rescue or a high probability of viable victims in specific rooms. For example, my daughter is trapped in that bedroom right there. A first floor fire is cutting off access to floors above. Fire that has cut off access or egress to primary entryways. Search delays, hoarding conditions, large open floor plans, or fire attack delays. VEIS is not appropriate for every single rescue situation. The VEIS procedure can be broken down into the following steps. Complete size up and a 360-degree walk around. Determine VEIS is appropriate and identify the entry point. Ventilation. Ventilate the window or the entry point. Enter the structure. Isolate by controlling the door. Search the room, then extricate the victim. The size up. On arrival, consider the building construction, the occupancy type, the location of the fire. Where is the fire going? Which area needs to be searched first? Complete that 360. Determine if VEIS is indicated and the best access point. Identify high target areas, such as bedrooms, bathrooms, and adjacent occupancies that are threatened. If VEIS is determined to be appropriate, we need to identify the entry point. What's its location? Is it on the first floor or is it above ground level? Say the second, third, fourth, or other. Open floor plans are another consideration. They have a limited number of doors. This prevents firefighters from being able to isolate the fire area from the rest of the structure. Open floor plans typically lack hallways that can serve as guided means of egress, making searches more challenging. Is the fire well established? When fires are in an advanced stage and taking over a structure, the need for seeking alternate means of entry for search and rescue will be required. Once we've identified our entry point, we need to communicate with the IC. The company officer announces over the radio to IC that the VEIS tactic will be implemented. Identify the exact location or best location of VEIS operation, provides all units with critical situational awareness. Ventilation in VEIS. Taking the window, breaking the glass. Use the proper tool. A 6-foot New York hook, a Halligan, an axe are all appropriate tools. Take out the whole window along with the frame or the sash if possible. When the glass is out, read the smoke, noting its volume, velocity, density, and color. Give it a couple of seconds. Are flashover conditions imminent or present? If so, we may need to abort VEIS. Scan. Do a quick scan of the room using a thermal imaging camera. Go versus no-go decisions. Go decisions should be that fire conditions allow for a search. There's a known or suspected rescue within that space, and you have the ability to compartmentalize that space by door control. A no-go situation really reads as not a viable rescue. There's impending or post-flashover conditions or untenable conditions for occupants or rescuers. So this video shows us a good representation of no-go and go situations on the same structure. The window on the right presents with a go situation where the room that's going to be searched using VEIS is smoky without active flame or fire within it, presenting for a viable or tenable atmosphere for a victim. The window on the left that was just taken already had active fire within. Once they've taken the window, you can see progression and growth of that fire exponentially. Firefighter makes access, but survivability and tenability within that room most likely is nil to negligible. The fire progression and growth may have already flashed, and now we're just getting further and further into a hot environment. As you can see, firefighter is going to make his bail out here very quickly, and he'll be smoking a bit. This firefighter suffered some minor burns to his back and torso, luckily not hurt very badly. Once again, this presents with a go or no-go decision-making process. Is it a viable rescue within that space? Is there impending or post-flashover signs? And is it tenable for survivability of a victim? Access methods. For a first floor access, we can use a Halligan, we can use webbing, we can use the knee of our partner to help us get into a window. If we're looking above grade, say second, third, fourth floor or higher, we can consider using a ground ladder, setting it at a 60-degree angle. Setting the ground ladder at a 60-degree angle is important on these types of rescues. Other access to above grade or above ground would be an aerial ladder. Key point is don't use the tip of your ladder to break the window. It creates an uncontrolled flow path. Enter. First things we do after we've taken the window, let the smoke escape, check for a neutral plane, is we're going to sweep the floor gently of the interior of the room, right below the windowsill. Once we've done that and we find no victims, we're going to sound. We'll sound forcefully to ensure that the floor has good integrity. Then we enter. We enter head first, as pictured here, or feet first by straddling the windowsill to stay low and underneath that neutral plane. Quick things on position terminology. The person who goes in first is going to be the searcher, the firefighter that makes entry and goes and closes the door and isolates the room. The point person is the firefighter at the window or the ladder who is using the tick to help guide the searcher in the room. Once we've entered the room, partner communication is key. Using common terminology and box numbering walls, 1, 2, 3, and 4, as you've seen here, helps to create a good working understanding of the room and space, and you're able to identify areas within that space for additional help. The point person uses the tick to help that searcher navigate the space. Now we need to isolate. Find the door. The searcher quickly finds the door, sweeps the hallway for victims, ensuring that he stays low throughout this process. If he finds victims in the hallway, he pulls them into the room. Once he either has victims or has no victims, goes back into the room, closes the door for controlling of that flow path. This is a very important or key concept. This improves room conditions for the search and rescue operation and does not affect the main fire flow path.
One is a vent, enter, isolate search operation. Here, adding the I to VEIS, emphasizing the isolation of that room that you're entering to understand the importance of cutting it off from the flow path. And what you're looking at here is a fire in the first floor living room. And as Dan mentioned, we have one open bedroom and one closed bedroom on the second floor. We're going to have the tower ladder go ahead and take the open bedroom, and you'll see that you don't get much flow out of that open bedroom. They reposition over to the bedroom with the open door, so it's now in the flow path, and you're going to see a very different result. You're going to see hot gases flowing from a high pressure to a low pressure, which is that window that got vented. And the thing that we have here is we have a cable running through the firewall from unit to unit attached to the doorknob, and you're going to see that we're going to be able to pull the door to that room closed, simulating a fire crew isolating that room. And you're going to see how conditions change. So figure they're making entry at this point, they're getting to that door, and you're going to see, once that becomes isolated, the smoke in that room lifts, it becomes searchable, you gain visibility, and more importantly, you stop the impact of cool air in low, hot gases out high.
The room is isolated. Now we start our search of that room. We do a thorough primary search of the room. Do this effectively and efficiently. Search every square inch, high and low. The point provides a lookout. He uses his tick to help direct the searcher in a tactical and efficient manner, but still the search is done by hand, and that is the best method in this situation. Safety. Regularly check your air supply. Always operate in teams of 2 at a minimum. Maintain contact by voice, visual, or touch. Monitor building condition and status. Check doors for heat before opening. Control opening of any door used. Close the door when possible to prevent or delay fire spread. Remain oriented to your location and the fire's path. Know where you entered. Know where you can get out. Identify all exits and entrances to the search area. Victim extrication. We've searched, we've isolated, we've ventilated, we've done all the steps. Now we found someone. If a victim is found, the point firefighter will also enter the room to help move and package the victim. If the best choice for victim extrication is through the window and down a ladder, extra personnel will be required. Communicate your resource request to the IC.
This one's pretty close to where the fire's at. Looks like we got a good bedroom to get into. IC from search. Yeah, IC from search. We got a bedroom on the delta side, closest to the alpha side of the structure. Looks like it's viable for VEIS. Search is going to make entry. Go ahead, fellas. Let's go ahead and get it open. We're ready. Copy. Clockwise 2, 3, and 4. You got it? Copy. Closing the door. Keep following the search along the wall 3 and 4. Back. I got nothing. Alright, I got nothing on the tape. Come on out. Coming out. IC from search. IC from search. We're on the delta side of the structure. We've got a good window and a bedroom for VEIS. We got good smoke production, it looks like, from it. We're going to go ahead and make entry. Good. Got a window. Breaking it. Very good. Wait a second. Sweeping. No immediate victims. Full is good. I need help getting in. Thanks. Okay, I'm transitioning in. Okay, I'm in. Alright, so we're going to use this wall as wall 1 and then go 2, 3, 4 clockwise. Looks like we have a victim on wall 3. Copy, head to wall 3. There might be a door on wall 4 as well, so you close it. I'm coming in too. I have a door. Close the door. No other victims in the hallway. I'm not patient. I'm in the 2 story. I'm coming. Come right back to me. I got the patient. Alright. You got that on? Ready? Move. Yeah, come on in. Ready to pick him up? Yeah, let's ready to get in. Okay, I'm going to beat him up. I guarantee you we're going to get him out the window. Okay. You ready on the outside? Ready. Okay. On 3. 1, 2, 3. And then back to you. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hey, go up and down the window. Okay, I'm going to push up on his back. You guys left and then drive. Ready? Yep. 1, 2, 3. We still got to finish the primary. Let's stay on the wall. Finish this up. I'll stay at the window. Okay. Actually, you stay on the head. Copy. Making my way. Okay. Clear. I'm going to head that way. Okay. Stop head. Clear. I got a bump there. Clear the bottom. Clear top. Yeah, we're all clear back there. Well, good. Yeah, let's head out. Let them out.
Victim extrication. Notify the IC if the victim is found. Remove the victim and send to medical group. Complete a primary search of the room. Exit the room and notify the IC or the accountability officer.